Yeah, she was in the city for a long time. She still does it.
He's reviewing it. Sometimes it might go.
Oh, not yet. See, I will tell you that my father made golf occasionally. But when I was little, I could say to them, every time you go, get a hold of it. You know, I wrote a book on water. Yeah, but items.
This is both of our first children.
It's exciting.
I'm found a reviewer to accept for making charity. But all the other shows that Sydney recommended that I go to. Oh, I'm going to see him just I'm definitely wait a minute. Thomas reviewed her, gave her a nice review. I'm going to come and see her. She's like, good, and my friend Randy lives here. So sweet. Would you like to No, I'm okay. Sure. Right, yeah.
And so we went and turned.
I believe no,
nice. Because when she advises me, she lives on the private island. I told her, she'll say, she texts her the whole time. But she was outside Chicago. She went to bring a bottle of especially if it's your show.
Yeah, she recorded all these criminals, and then she has all this money. And the whole thing,
But Tori came in and five.
I need to give those money back. She said she stayed out like, I don't know.
Well, how do you now?
You gotta stay here, the next event will be on in about 11 minutes.
Remember that night we That was an entire fabulous day.
Good evening and welcome to Don't Tell Mama. Before we begin this evening, I would like to take a moment to remind everyone to please silence your cell phones and then put them away. You will not need them. Texting, photography, and recording of any kind is not allowed during the performance. We also ask that you keep the aisles clear for the performers and the wait staff. Thank you and enjoy the show. Please welcome to the stage, Elliot Finkel.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, let's see. Don't Tell Mama would like to present. Oh, America's most beloved living entertainer, Mr. Dave Koenig.
A nice hand for Elliot Finkel. Elliot Finkel. There we go. Elliot Finkel. The Jewish Justin Bieber. Elliot Finkel. Wow, fantastic. This is great. Look at this. Look at this crowd.
Yeah.
We packed the joints. This is fantastic. We got like 22 people in here. That's why I love this club. Any other club, any other theater I've ever performed in, you tell me I got 22 people in the audience, I'm looking for razor blades. Here, I'm the Weekend. This is beautiful. And look at this. We're all here. No masks. We can see each other. We can see faces. I'm so happy about this. And I'll tell you something from where I stand. It's a damn good-looking audience. You are a very attractive crowd. Individually, I see some issues, but collectively, there it is. This is so wonderful. I'm honored. I'm so honored. I'm honored to be here tonight. I really am. I am honored to be in this room with you. I'll tell you why. I've performed all over the country, all over the world. I've been on Broadway. I've won Emmy Awards. But we have a saying in show business. It doesn't matter what you've accomplished. You haven't really made it until you've played Don't Tell Mamas on a Sunday night. This is what we call living the dream. I'm so happy you. Thank you all for coming out tonight. Give yourselves a nice. Thank you very much for coming. No, really, because you didn't have to be here. You didn't have to come out to this tonight. I know that. This was not easy because we're still early stages here. I know people are a little nervous. I get it. I had people calling me up, writing me letters saying, I want to come, but I'm not quite ready. One woman called. She wrote me a letter. She wrote me. She said, Dave. She said, you know, I love you. I'm your biggest fan. She said, I'm just not ready to come out to a club yet. And I said, you know, I wrote her back. I said, I understand completely, but you know, frankly, Mom, you've been telling me that for years. It's wearing a little thin. But we're going to say this once. We'll get it out of the way, and then we'll do a show. We're going to say this once, and then we'll do an entertaining show. We're here tonight for one reason. And one reason only. And that's because, I mean, laughter is the best medicine. So if you have gonorrhea, I'm told penicillin is just, you want a nice big shot of penicillin. So gonorrhea, penicillin first, laughter wouldn't even be on the list, quite frankly. This is not my first show back. Everybody was laid off for a year. All the entertainment, nobody worked in show business for a year. But this is not my first show back. This is the truth. My first show back was in April. I went up to Ellenville, New York, in the Catskills, and I performed a Passover show for an audience of Hasidic Jews. My second show back, and I swear this is the truth. My second show back, strange circumstances, I had to get on a plane and fly to Provo, Utah, to do a show for an audience of Mormons. So I can't tell you how happy I am tonight to be here in front of an audience of regular New York City alcoholics. It's good to be working, and I had a few things going on. I had to go in for hernia surgery. Yeah, that's a joy. And then I got an infection because apparently my insurance doesn't actually cover sanitizing the surgical equipment. Just covers rinsing off. So I've been going to the doctors. I hate going to. I hate dealing with their offices. I had to go to a dermatologist, right? So I called the office for the appointment. The lady says, "Okay, your appointment is Friday at 9:45, but the doctor wants you there 15 minutes early." I said, if my appointment's for 9:45, the doctor wants me there 15 minutes early, why don't you just make the appointment for 9:30? I said, tell you what, you tell the doctor I rescheduled the appointment for 9:15, but I'm going to be 15 minutes late. I hate dealing with, I have trouble dealing with people on the phone and in person. These are the two areas. I have nothing against the congenitally stupid. I just don't understand why they all end up in customer service. The other day, I'm in the supermarket. I get out of the supermarket, I get in my car won't start. So I call AAA. I say, yeah, I'm in the parking lot of the supermarket, the car won't start. The lady from AAA says, was your car working when you drove it there? You know, as a matter of fact, it wasn't. I had to push my car all the way here from my house. Now it's all loaded up with groceries. It's a little too heavy to push back. Maybe you can send somebody over. Dealing with geniuses here, geniuses. And then the doctor tells me, you know what they say now to me? They say, you gotta cut down on red meat. He says, you're eating too much red meat. You know what I tell him? I said, you're wrong. I said, you're wrong. I say, meat eaters live longer than vegetarians. Do you know why? Because we embrace life. And then we eat it. I'm a meat eater. I don't mess around. I go to a restaurant, I get a big juicy steak, I get a side order of pot roast, I get some meatballs on top of that. I tell the waiter to take it back, put it in the blender, make me a meat smoothie. I'm a meat eater. We all meat eaters here tonight? Any vegetarians in the room tonight? Yes? You vegetarian? Do you know what you were agreeing to? Vegetarians are a pain in the ass. They are. No, not individually, but collectively as a group. No, they are. They come over to your house on Thanksgiving and you gotta make them a special meal. They sit and stare at you with their beady, judgmental vegetarian eyes. I saw a bumper sticker on a car. It said, meat makes me sick. Why would you put that on your car? Meat makes me sick. I'm gonna get a bumper sticker on my car that says, wheat gives me a rash. What do you think of that? I'm gonna get a bumper sticker on my car that says, if I so much as get in the same room with a plum, I develop a urinary tract infection. What do you think? Savage vegetarians. That's a peculiar thing, this need we have as Americans to put our innermost feelings and beliefs on little pieces of paper glued to the back of our cars. Why do people do this? People put information about their families on bumper stickers. My son's an honor student at Midvale High. I don't care. Do I bore you with information about my family on the back of my car? Do I have a bumper sticker on the back of my car that says, my cousin Bob in Hoboken has hepatitis? No. I got an uncle in Syosset. We think he's a cross-dresser. I don't bother you with this. Then I go to the optometrist. I wear glasses when I'm not on stage. I've been wearing glasses all my life. Recently, I go to the optometrist, right? He hits me with one of these. He says, yeah, you're about 6 months away from bifocals. Oh, you hear that and you fully expect to hear, and you're 12 months away from being spoon-fed tapioca by a Jamaican nurse. So I go to the eyeglass store to get I'm wearing the multifocals. Anybody wear these, the progressives, you wear these things? You get used to them? I can't get used to them. I don't know whether to look up or down. I swear to God, I got no depth perception. I leave the house in the morning, I feel like one of the flying Melendez. So I go to the eyeglass store, I just want to grab my new glasses and get out, but you can't, you know this, because first you got to deal with the lady behind the counter, whose sole job is to take your new glasses and put them on your head. Because this is apparently a very complicated task, you might screw it all up and poke your own eye out. So she takes my new multifocal lenses, she puts them on my head, and she looks. Then she takes them off, she makes a little adjustment, she puts them back, she looks. Then she says, these are gonna look crooked, but it's not the glasses, it's you. You have one eye higher than the other. So I said, could you take them back, could you straighten them out? She said, they are straight, it's not the glasses, it's you. So now, I'm starting to get a little steamed. I said, ma'am, now, you should know that when I start a sentence with the word ma'am, that's a key word. That means the volcano is about to erupt. It's like starting a sentence with all due respect. No one in the history of the English language has ever said anything respectful following with all due respect. It's always with all due respect, you should drop dead. So I said, look, ma'am, I've been wearing glasses all my life. I have never had this problem. She says, sir, with all due respect, I've been selling glasses all my life. I've never had this problem. I said, you've been selling glasses all your life? Oh, so when all the other little kids were out on the front lawn with their lemonade stands, you were out there with your optometry kiosk. When all the little Girl Scouts were going door to door selling cookies, you were selling disposable contact lenses. So I do 12 rounds. 12 rounds I do with this lunatic. I storm out of the store. My wife's waiting in the car outside. I get in the car. I storm out. My wife says, what happened? I said, I'll tell you what happened. That woman's insane. She said I had one eye higher than the other. My wife says, you just noticed this? She says, everybody on your side of the family has one eye higher than the other. So now I'm juggling 3 different pairs of glasses, right? I got my new multifocal lenses, right? These are for everyday use and for driving. And then I still wear my old prescription for distance, like when I go to the movies, it's just easier. And now, of course, I have my new reading glasses just for reading. So the ultimate nightmare for me would be to go see a foreign movie with subtitles at a drive-in theater. You're gonna applaud for that, that's right. If you want, I mean, if you insist. I'm not gonna suppress your need to give me love. That wouldn't be fair to you. This is I love this joint. Don't you love Don't Tell Mamas?
Yes.
What a fantastic joint this is, I swear to God. 22 people on the U-Chat. This is great. I'm not messing around though. Now that it's over, I'm diving back in big time. This show, this show that you're at right now, this show that you're a participant, this show is actually the kickoff to my big North American tour. That's right. Yeah. No, I'm going to be playing all the big comedy clubs. I hope you come out and see me.
Yes.
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 It's a yes, girl.
Well, that's wonderful. Well, I'll tell you. I'm going to be playing, let's see, I'm going to be playing giggles, tickles, chuckles, chortles, spittles, snuffles, snortles, guffaws, involuntary coughing spasms, cuckoos, crazies, zanies, psychos, psychotics, deranged outpatients, bipolar manic depressives, the Comedy Corner, the Comedy Zone, the Comedy House, the Comedy Halfway House, the Comedy Co-op, the Comedy Illegal Sublet, the Comedy Quonset Hut, the Comedy Abattoir, and then I'll be wrapping it up next Sunday right back here at Don't Tell Mom. So I have to come Yes. We have friends here tonight. This is a wonderful thing. I can't believe I got 22 people, and some of them are not even related to me. This is so marvelous. I know I have some friends here tonight. That's always a joyous thing. A lot of comedians don't like to perform with friends in the audience. I'll tell you what. When you're a comedian and you have friends coming to your show, they always say the same dopey thing. They always say, hey, Dave, hey, I'm coming to your show tonight. You better be funny, or we'll heckle you. Why the threat? You wouldn't do that to me if I was a serious dramatic actor. You wouldn't say, hey Dave, we're coming to see you in Death of the Salesman tonight. You better be dramatic, or we'll stand up in the audience and yell things at you. Wouldn't do that to me. I got TV production is back. They're doing TV all over the place now. It's fantastic. I'm very excited. I don't want to brag, but I did a big appearance on Law and Order. So yeah, very nice. Not the big famous Law and Order. I was on one of the spin-offs. I was on the spin-off actually that didn't quite make it. Law and Order Parking Violations Bureau. Played a guy who parked in no parking zone. I didn't see the sign. Very suspenseful. It's on right after CSI Poughkeepsie, so check your level. Oh, this summer you can see me on Survivor East Hampton. 6 Jews on the beach, no sunblock. Check your out. It's fantastic. I had shows lined. I had so many shows canceled this year. Everybody had shows canceled. I had a whole series. I had the tour lined up for Florida. I was going to go down there. I was going to do 11 shows, opening for Melissa Manchester. It was a great tour. That the thing. No, it's true. The thing about Florida, though, see a lot of comedians think it's an older crowd. I don't know. Florida's great. They have all those communities, they have these wonderful theaters of 1,200 seat, they're like Broadway houses, it's fantastic. It's just a wonderful thing. And I did a show, last time I was down in Florida, I did a show at the Deerfield Beach Century Village, which is kind of an older crowd. You know that TV series, The Walking Dead? Down there, they think it's a documentary. But they're very nice. I was talking to one couple after the show, lovely people. They were well into their 80s, which is why they had fallen on hard economic times, so that's why they had to go back to Florida. They had to move back in with their parents. So because they have a provision of Obamacare down there, kids can stay on their parents' insurance until they're 82. So it's a whole when they talk about friends with benefits, they mean Medicare Part B. It's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. I was down there in Florida. I was staying at the Deerfield Beach Hilton, That's a swinging joint. You go down to the hotel bar for happy hour. They don't serve Jello shots, just Jello. I had to kill 2 days. I had 2 days to kill, so I went to one of those. I went to a Civil War reenactment. You ever go to one of them? They're great. They get dressed up. They act out a battle. Very authentic down there because they use actual veterans of the Civil War. So it's a whole different thing. It's a whole different thing. I went to a. They have even the hookers are elderly in Florida. Did you know this? They have elderly hookers. It's true. But you got to catch them before sundown because it's an early bird special. You pay with coupons. So it's a whole different thing. I went to a sex shop, I tell you. In Deerfield Beach, Florida. I went to a sex shop. They sell a vibrator with a built-in defibrillator. It's a whole different culture. I flew for the first time. I told you I flew down to Provo, Utah. It's the first time on a plane in forever. I used to fly a lot because I used to do the cruise ships. I used to perform on cruise ships. And again, the cruise ships, the thing about the cruise ships is the shows are great. Again, beautiful theaters, 1,000-seat theaters, state of the art. It's not the problem as a comedian, the problem as an entertainer is the logistics getting to and from. Because they fly you in the middle of the ship, right? In the middle of the cruise. So you're always flying, you're always like running through the airport in Panama to catch a connecting flight to Belize to get a van to Kuala Lumpur. It's agony. It's agony. My last cruise ship gig, I had to get a ship that was it was leaving from Puerto Vallarta, Mexico, right? So New York Air, U.S. Air flew me from New York to Puerto Vallarta, Mexico, and they flew all my socks and underwear to Nevada. It's so dignified. What a dignified project. You gotta. It starts at security. You show up. You gotta take off your shoes. Now you're shuffling around in public barefoot. You go through the detector. Something goes off. You gotta go back. Take off your belt. Now you're shuffling around in public barefoot with your pants around your ankles. Last time I got caught in public barefoot with my pants around my ankles, I ended up in rehab. Then I got stopped. I got stopped at security. Why? Because I had a bottle of shampoo in my bag. So now we have millions and millions of taxpayers' dollars going to confiscate billions of gallons of shampoo. Because apparently the FBI is on the lookout for a terrorist with extremely clean hair. We could have a shampoo bomber, right? We had a shoe bomber, right? Had an underwear. You remember the underwear bomber? Guy gets on a plane with explosive underwear, remember? I mean, I've been on planes with explosive underwear, but it's usually when I'm flying back from Mexico. So that's all. That's all. And then you get to meet the man with the rubber gloves, your friendly TSA agent. Oh, this pervert, he's poking, he's prodding, he's fondling. Your trip to the airport just turned into a cross between an alien abduction and a prostate exam. Finally, you get on the plane, now you get the kickback. Relax, enjoy the 3/4 of an inch of legroom you got. My last flight, the guy in front of me was sitting so close, 20 minutes into the flight, we were ready to pick out furniture. Finally, you arrive at your destination. You're hot, you're tired, you're disgusted, you're dehydrated. Now you get to play everybody's favorite vacation game, baggage claim roulette. Round and round she goes, where my bag is, nobody knows. That's what happened. I arrive in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. I find out that U.S. Air has lost all my luggage, but there's nothing I can do about it because now I got to get to the ship, right? Because the last thing I need is to be stuck in Mexico with no clothes and no ship. So I hop a cab to get to the cruise ship. Now, anytime the cruise ships all meet up in Mexico, so you're always traveling around Mexico. Anytime I've ever been in Mexico inside of a Mexican cab, the cab driver always asks the same stupid question. You need air conditioning? Now it's 168 degrees in Mexico, and I'm a Jew. I'm not an Exodus Israeli marching through the desert Jew. I'm a New York, chuck it to the hotel room, order room service, call the front desk and complain Jew. That's what I am. So I need that air conditioning. But I'm an American in a foreign country. I want to portray my nation in a favorable light. So I resist the urge to say what I'm really thinking, be a real New Yorker and say, hey, Pancho Villa. Of course I need air conditioning. It's 168 degrees out here. Instead, I say very nonchalantly, I say, por favor, de la air conditioning, café con leche, arroz con pollo. Desiones. Which I believe means loosely translated, are you kidding me? It's 168 degrees out here. Of course I need air conditioning. So the Mexican cab driver, he rolls up the windows, he cranks up the air conditioning. Now, for those of you who have never enjoyed this experience, Mexican cab without air conditioning. Hot. Mexican cab with air conditioning. Hot. But with the windows rolled up. So now I'm hot, I'm tired, I'm disgusted, I'm dehydrated. US Air has lost all my luggage, and now I'm traveling around in Mexico inside of essentially a microwave oven on wheels. Finally, I make it to the cruise ship, right? I immediately get online for the buffet, because that's what you got to do if you want to eat. And don't cut the line, because there's fat people with forks. They'll stab you right in the head. Oh, they're out there, man. They'll get you. You remember that ship, the Costa Concordia, the one that went down? It was an engineering problem. You know what happened? Instead of putting the buffet in the middle of the ship, they put it on the side. First meal, all the fat people stampeded. Boom, down she went. Oh, yeah. So the cruise director comes up to me. He says, what happened? They lost your luggage? I said, yes. He said, who was it? Was it Delta? I said, no. He said, because you know what Delta stands for. Don't expect luggage to arrive. I said, no, this was US Air. Underwear and socks are in Reno. Keep applauding so I can drink. What a pro, huh? Keep applauding so I can drink. What a professional. I tell you, here's the thing. You know what's the most stressful thing in the world? Stress. You gotta watch your stress levels. That's the most stressful. You gotta cut down on the stress in your life. I have come to a point in my life where I have to cut down on stress. I can no longer be a stressful person. So I have taken certain steps now. Because the doctor keeps telling me, you gotta watch your stress levels. And you know what I tell him? I say, you know what? Why don't you watch my stress levels? What the hell do you think I'm paying you for? So I've done this. First of all, I don't watch the news. I don't watch the news anymore. That's right. No news. No news. I don't watch the local news because the format is idiotic. I hate it. They have to do all these little tricks. You know, like right before the commercial break, they give you a little news teaser. You know, little news story with a twist ending, takes the anchorman by surprise. He doesn't even know what's going on. He says, coming up next, man arrested for drunk driving on the highway in a Zamboni. Full report coming up next. Coming up next, President declares war on salty snacks. Full report coming up next. Coming up next, we've all heard of bomb-sniffing dogs, but glue-sniffing dogs? Strung-out puppies coming up next. It's ridiculous. And I will not watch the 24, the MSNBC, Fox News, all that stuff. I cannot watch that. I won't turn it off. Turn it off. Because it's just people yelling at each other. It's just people screaming and yelling, like I'm doing right now. To you. It's abusive, is what it is. But I don't even understand what the hell everyone's so angry about half the time. The big controversy that this is when I checked out was a while ago. Was the big controversy about whether or not bakers should have to bake cakes for gay weddings. Now, first of all, it's the same cake. It's not like there's a gay cake and a straight cake. It's not like you can be the straight guy at the gay wedding, have a piece of the gay cake and go, whoa. You know, I never thought of it before, but you know, it'll go great with this cake. Some cock. Yeah, I think I'll have another piece of this cake, some cock, and a cup of decaf. Because if I drink real coffee now, I'll be up all night sucking cock. I'm not saying it. It's an unlikely scenario. It's possible. Words with a K that are funny, aren't they? And then you got these guys that are still arguing this point. Oh, and you just want to tell them, let it go already. The ship has sailed, you know. But they find a new rationalization. They go, well, let me tell you something about gay marriage. Here's the thing. It's not so much a sociological issue as it is an immigration issue. Let me explain. You open the door to gay marriage, you know what comes next. Gay green card marriage. I'm talking loveless arrangements, foreign homosexuals coming to our shores, marrying our men, just so they can take good jobs away from good American homosexuals. And then you know what happens next? Yeah, and you go see a Broadway musical, all the chorus boys are bumping into each other and falling into the pit. Why? Because they can't understand what their choreographer is saying because he doesn't speak a word of English. So I say we build a big gay wall around the country. Something tasteful with a nice latticework design. Of course, it's an old news story. It doesn't matter anymore. It's Gay marriage is now the law of the land in all 50 states, except for Alabama. They have their own law in Alabama. In Alabama, gays can get married as long as they're already first cousins. So that's a... Certainly I'm playing for the sons and daughters of the Confederacy here. Takes a lot of courage to tell a joke like that on 46th Street in a cabaret in New York City. A lot of comedians wouldn't go out on a limb like that, I'll tell you. That takes balls. But you booked me into the Birmingham Chuckle Hut, and we'll see if that joke even makes it into the set. We'll just see how brave I am then. But I take on the sacred, like a lot of comedians wouldn't take on a sacred cow, like the uncomfortability of airline travel. That's something you've never heard before. But not me, boy. I tell truth to power is what I do. That might have been a mildly funnier crack if I had said it after I did the airline jokes, but I forgot to put it. So, you know, all right. This is getting very meta, because first I comment on the joke, and then I comment on the comment. Pretty soon we're going to be, I don't know where we're going to be. We're going to be on a bus to Canarsie. I don't know what's going to happen. Oh my God. I can't watch baseball anymore. I used to watch baseball to relax, to relieve stress. Now it's too stressful. You know why it's too stressful for me? Because they did some market research. They figured out guys my age watch a lot of baseball. So what do? They put on the most humiliating commercials. You turn on a ball game, every other, low testosterone, frequent urination, every other commercial, some guy who looks like me has lost complete control of his bodily functions. So then I started recording the games. I'd watch them later, fast forward through the commercials, right? Ah, ha, ha, ha. They figured this gag out, right? Because now they sneak the commercials into the game every chance they get. You turn on a ball game, what do you hear? Here's the windup and the pitch. And that ball is low and outside. And if your balls are low and outside, that could be a prostate condition. Try Flomax. Johnson steps in, he swings, it's a big pop-up, this big pop-up, brought to you by Viagra, guaranteed pop-up every time. Well, the Yankees certainly have exploded for runs in this game. And for your explosive runs, kaopectate helps relieve. Even the names of the ballparks are all commercial. Remember when ballparks had colorful, evocative names? Right? Comiskey Field, beautiful. Candlestick Park in Stanford, lovely, poetic name. Now it's all commercial. Capital One Field, Bank of America Park, Tropicana Minute Maid Orange Juice Field. What's next, huh? Good evening, sports fans. Great night for baseball here at Vagisil Park. And the Mets are just itching to get into this game. That's right, Ralph. Next week they move on to Arizona, the Diamondbacks' beautiful new Preparation H anti-hemorrhoidal cream stadium. And the fans will be on the edge of their seats for that game, obviously. You know what else is stressful? I'll tell you what else is stressful. Segways are stressful. And not just that. You with that, huh? It's my wife. She's heard my goddamn act 10 million times. I got her to laugh at something spontaneous. 30 years of marriage. You didn't think there was any spontaneity. Okay. So anyway, no, social media is stressful. That's right. Social media is stressful. You go on Instagram. Everybody's got a better life than you. I'm going to start the world's first anti-social media site. You join and then you immediately unfriend everyone. The worst is on Facebook, when a celebrity dies and everybody has to rush on to Facebook to pour out their grief over these people they don't even know. Oh my God, I can't believe we lost Arnold Stang. You didn't lose him, you didn't even know he was still alive. My friend does. I got a friend who does this all the time. I swear to God. My friend. Last week we had a week where there was two actors who were on TV when we were kids, and they both died the same week. After the second one, my friend couldn't take it anymore. He broke down. He goes on Facebook and he says, "Oh no! How many more of our beloved childhood TV stars must die?" I went on and wrote, "All of them?" I got 4 kids. That's stressful. I got 4 kids. It's a lot of kids. Don't get me wrong, I love them, but you really don't need that many children. It's ostentatious, quite frankly. You got 4 kids, you're approaching Von Trapp family singers territory. You got 4 kids, they should be wearing lederhosen and singing Edelweiss and fleeing the Nazis. Here's the problem with having that many kids. you're outnumbered. And sooner or later, they figure it out. I remember first, I go up to one of my kids one time. I go up and say, get in there and clean up your room. You know what he says? He says, there's 4 of us, there's 2 of you. Why don't you get in there and clean up my room? As long as we're talking, let's talk about my allowance, shall we? That's a nice Ford minivan you and Mommy are driving. Be a shame if something were to happen to it, you know what I'm saying? It's not easy. And they're always hot. When you got 4 kids, it's always a birthday, they always hot. Dad, you gotta give me an iPod, poke in the eye. They want all the eye stuff. You know what I tell my kids? I said, we didn't have iPads when I was a kid. You know what we played with when I was a kid? A slinky. That's what. Circular metal wire. We played with coil. It was half a step up from playing with industrial waste. Remember the slinky? You'd get it, you'd play with it one day, it would get bent and tangled. The rest of your childhood, you played with bent, tangled metal coil. That's what we had. And I was lucky to have to. I remember hocking my dad, you gotta give me a slinky. All the other kids got slinkies, I gotta have a slinky. You know what my father told me? He said, we didn't have slinkies when I was a kid. You know what we played with when I was a kid? A box of dirt. That's what. Box of dirt. I was lucky to have it. I was looking at my father, your grandfather. You know what he played with? Just dirt. No box. It was the family dirt. They smuggled it in from the old country. And he was lucky to have it. His father, my grandfather, your great-grandfather, you know what he played with? Nothing. They couldn't even afford dirt. They were dirt poor. And they don't read. Kids don't read anymore. You know what they're doing? You know what they're doing on the iPads? You know what they're doing? You know what it is? It's just another way to watch television. That's all it is. They got Netflix, they got Hulu, they got Amazon, they got 5,011 channels. You know what I tell my kids? I say, you know how many channels we had when I was a kid? We had 2. We had NBC and ABC. We were so poor, we couldn't even afford CBS. And I was lucky to have it too. You know what my father watched when he was a kid? A box of dirt. That's what we looked at a box of dirt for 3 hours and then we went to bed. And kids don't read books anymore. Did you know this? They don't read books. They don't have to. They want to find something out. What do? Bing, Google. Bing, Wikipedia. When I was a kid, you wanted to learn something. You had to read it in books. We had books. Lucky to have them too. You know what my father had when he was a kid? No, he had books too, but he kept them in a box of dirt. We don't know. We don't know. He had dirty books. We don't know. He didn't ask a lot of questions. It's true. It's a true story. Here's my advice to any young couple starting out. You want to have a family? My advice: adopt. Adopt. No, like an older child. No, see, that way you can bypass the whole baby, toddler, teenage thing. Adopt like a middle-aged guy. Like some guy in his 40s. Like an accountant who can help you with your taxes. Here's our new son, Mr. Goldstein. He's a big fella. Boy, weighs over 200 pounds. We're very proud. Big boy. See, I'm Jewish and my wife is Irish Catholic, right? I married a beautiful Irish Catholic girl. So we had to raise the kids Catholic. That's just the way it works. Right? I just show up. Signed a letter to the Pope, sent it off. I don't know. No, it's fine. It's fine. It works out fine. It's no big deal. Except I think my kids might be a little anti-Semitic. Just a little. Just a little. Now you hear comments. I don't want to make a big deal. I remember one time my son, he was 4 years old. He asked me if I'd buy him his own real car, you know? I thought that was kind of cute. I said, no, Dad, he can't do that. That would cost too much money. You know what he said? You people. That's all you have to think about. My kids built a clubhouse in the backyard. I asked if I could join. My 8-year-old pulls me aside. He says, look, if it were up to me. Oh, and they had better holidays than I had when I was a kid. Oh, no, it's true. The Gentile kids get the better holidays. They get the fun holidays. You know, kids, it's Easter. Fun for the kids. Are you kidding? Easter egg hunt, chocolate bunnies. They get Christmas. Santa Claus, Mariah Carey, it's the whole thing. Jews, we get holidays like Sukkah. That's where you got to go outside and build a hut. It's a great holiday for the Jewish people. We're so well known for our carpentry skills. They get the better turn on the TV. You never turn on the see it's Tisha B'Av, Charlie Brown. You never see that. They get Charlie Brown. We don't get. There's no Jews in Charlie Brown. They get the better holiday. I used to ask my father to explain to me the history of the Jewish holidays. He wouldn't know the answer. I'd catch him off guard. He'd get all aggravated. According to my father, every Jewish holiday was the same. The entire history of Judaism, thousands of years of getting our ass kicked. On the rare occasions there's a day we didn't get our ass kicked, that's a holiday. I say, explain Passover. You say, Passover? The Pharaoh was trying to kick the Jews' ass, so we fled into the desert, where we got lost for 40 years, so nobody could find us, so they couldn't kick our ass. Okay, happy Passover. Enjoy your bitter herbs and horseradish. Yom Kippur, Yom Kippur. Well, for one day you don't eat anything. Then you'll be so weak and headachy from hunger, maybe people will feel sorry for you. For one day they won't kick your ass. Okay, happy Yom Kippur. Enjoy your delicious nothing. Hanukkah, the Syrians were trying to kick the Jews' ass. So we hid in the temple for 8 days. We hid. It's a festival of hiding. Oh yeah, Pop, what happened on the ninth day? On the ninth day they found us, they kicked their ass. Okay, happy Hanukkah. Go play with your dreidel. Oh, that's another thing. Christmas. Presents, toys, gifts, cash, money orders, appliances. The deed to a cattle ranch in Montana. Hanukkah, what do you get? You get a dreidel. What's a dreidel? It's a top. It's a disappointing present for a kid of any age. Oh, we try and jazz it up with a musical number. Dreidel, 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 I made it out of clay. You get that? You get the angle? You don't even get the dreidel. You get a lump of clay. They tell you, go make your own dreidel. Hanukkah, it's a Hebrew word. You know what it means? Loosely translated. It means the Irish kid who lives next door is getting a new bike, and you're not. It's true. And I always thought, when I was growing up, I always thought that the Gentile superhero, Jesus, was just a little hipper than our superhero, Moses. No, take the movie The Ten Commandments, right? Which, like most American secular Jews, is where I got the bulk of my biblical training as a child. Now, the Jews have fled from Yul Brynner, right? And Eddie G. Robinson's got them out in the desert, drinking and smoking and worshiping golden calves, right? Charlton Heston comes down from the mountain, pissed at everyone. Now, as a kid, I would watch this, I think, Moses, why so cranky? You're just blowing off steam. After all, you're the one who got him lost in the desert. Oh, and where have you been for the last 40 days? Oh, up on a mountain talking to shrubbery. Jesus, on the other hand, shows up at a party, finds out they're running low on booze. Shazam! He's turning water into wine. Anything else? Would you like some more dip? He's a very accommodating guy. He's fixing things. Boom, what do you got? What are you, dead? Boom, you're alive. Thank you. What's the problem? Blind? Shazam? Bing, bang, boom, get up. Just making things happen. What do you got? You want me to fix a bookcase? I'll get the toolbox. I'm good with that. Pop, give me the toolbox. I'm going to fix the bookcase. It's true. My parents, I wasn't not raised with a lot of, my parents were not, they had their beliefs. They believed in yelling, primarily. That was their main belief. They believed in yelling, and they were committed to it. They put in the time. They would wake up and they would yell at each other, and then they would yell some more. They'd go to work, they'd call each other up at the phone, yell. They'd come home, they'd have dinner, they'd yell during dinner. After dinner, they'd take a little break for screaming, and then they go back to yelling. They'd wake up in the middle of the night yelling and screaming. They were angry. They were angry, short Jewish people. My father was 5'2", 125 pounds. My mother was 5 foot, 250 pounds. When they walked down the street, they looked like the number 10. They made Jews shorter back then. That's what it was. It's before they started putting fluoride in the seltzer. It was a whole different culture. It doesn't really make any sense because fluoride's for your teeth. It's not a growth serum or something. That joke doesn't. See, I'm going to analyze all my jokes with you as we go. Because you're sitting right there. So you have no one to blame but yourself. It was a straight. My father was a cranky guy. My father we would move around a lot when I was a kid. We moved around a lot. Every couple of months, my father would get aggravated and he would pack up and he would move, and we would have to go with him because he had the food. So I went to 17 different schools when I was 17 different schools. No, that is absolutely true. 17. There was one year we moved around so much I didn't even go to school. It was the 4th grade, so I have certain holes in my education. There's things you learn in the 4th grade I just never learned. I got a son. My son came home one day. He was in the 4th grade, and he came home. He said they were learning all about Lincoln's assassination. And I thought to myself, assassinated. So that's what happened today. Next week, my wife and I celebrate our 30th wedding anniversary. It's 2 weeks from now. It's close enough to make the joke work. It's 2 weeks from now. And we did not have a big wedding, my wife and I. We did not. We had there's all kinds of weddings. You can have a big wedding, you can have a small wedding. The worst kind of wedding, though, the worst kind, don't do this if you young people getting married. Don't do the do-it-yourself wedding. You know the do-it-yourself? My wife dragged me to one of these a few weeks ago. The do-it-yourself wedding is the worst. That's where they can't get married, indoors in a temple or a church. They got to get married outdoors in a cow pasture. Don't get married outdoors in a cow pasture. It's cold, it's wet, there's cow shit everywhere. If cows could talk, you know what they'd say? They'd say, hey, could we come in? Because there's all this cow shit out here. And then, they can't make it official, right? They can't get a minister or a rabbi or a priest. No. It's always like their friend from college who majored in lesbian poetry with the socks on his hands. And the absolute worst thing about the do-it-yourself wedding, the worst thing, they write their own vows. Don't write your own vows. No one will tell you this, but you have no talent. You can't write. And you always know whose idea was to write their own vows. It's the bride's idea. Because you're out there in the cold and the wet with the cow shit, and she's up there doing a one-woman show for 47 minutes. And so, as I and you and I, individually yet collectively, coming from 2 separate places to form one, a bond, a unity, a newness, with love and compassion and understanding, going forth into a future as yet unknown, but with a respect for the past and a mindfulness of the present. As we unite as one to battle against climate change and global warming and the Amazon rainforest and Meghan and Harry's discomfort with the royal family and blah, 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 blah. Now finally she's done. And now it's the groom's turn. And you know this poor bastard, he forgot all about the vows until the night before when he was stumbling home from the bachelor party. Because he's up there. Loving you is easy. Expressing love is hard. So to show you how I feel, I bought you this card. That's a poor bastard is off to a good start. So, but here's the thing, this has scientifically been proven. This is an actual scientific statistical fact. I'm going to tell you something you didn't. Married people live longer than single people. Did you know that? That's absolutely true. And happily married people live a really, really long time, but then they die simultaneously. We know this, right? It's a common phenomenon. It's actually a lovely thing in life. We all know this. We've all seen this. Old married couples, married forever. One of them goes, the other one goes right after it. See, but what is it? It's like they can't live without each other, right? And that is true love. My grandparents were married for 72 years. 72 years. And then one night, my grandma just passed away. My grandfather died 10 minutes later. It's true love. Granted, in their case, it was a murder-suicide, but still. 72 years is a long time, a lot of pent-up anger, but nonetheless. Don't complain. Some of you actually paid to get in here. Not a lot of you, but some of you. I told you I flew down to Provo. You know what I was doing down in Provo, Utah? I will tell you the truth. I flew down there to shoot a stand-up comedy special. A stand-up comedy special, but it will not be broadcast on television. It's for a company called Dry Bar Comedy, and it will be broadcast on an app. So I'm going to have to get one of my kids to show me how to get the app so I can watch myself on my app. Because I have reached the point where I do not understand technology at all anymore. I've reached that. I'm not an old man. I'm relatively young. I'm 49. I'm 52. I'm 40. I'm 50. Depending on how much I'm currently lying about my age, I'm, with enough hair dye, I'm 54-ish. Anyway. But the thing is, with the technology, nothing new is getting in there. I can't understand it. I have an iPhone. I don't know how to use it. I know nothing. I know one thing. I know how you can save $400 on an iPhone. Now, I get an iPhone. I don't know. If I get 2 calls at once, I panic. And I just start pressing buttons at random. I remember when I first got the phone, the first time I got 2 calls simultaneously, I got so frustrated, I ended up angrily hanging up on both calls. But I angrily hung up the old-fashioned way by slamming the phone down. Which is stupid, because when you slam an iPhone down, you get a cracked screen. So now I got a cracked screen, I got to go to the Apple store, which I hate, because I know they're going to ask me questions I don't know the answers to. So I go to the Apple store, employee comes up to me, 14 years old. I said, I got a cracked screen. He says, very good, sir. Let me take you to the Genius Bar. Because I don't feel inadequate enough. Now I got to talk to a genius. So now the genius comes up. This one's 12. This one's not even shaved. He says, sir, I can't replace your screen. You have an iPhone 4. The screen is connected to the phone. He said, but for $200, I can replace the entire phone, or for the same price, I can upgrade you to an iPhone 6. Now, I don't even know how to use my 4, but now I'm convinced I gotta have that 6. Because it's gotta be at least 2 better than the 4. I said, okay, let's do it. Let's do it. Now, another genius comes over. This one's 10. This is a little girl with Mary Jane's and pigtails. She comes skipping over. She comes, I said to the little girl, I said, give me the 6. I said, just save my contacts. That's all save my contacts. The little girl says, can't save your contacts. You do not have enough storage space on your cloud. I don't know what the hell this means, but it sounds like a poem by Yoko Ono. I said, give me more storage space on my cloud. The little girl says that'll be $100. Okay, so we're up to 3 geniuses, $300. Now another genius comes up. This one's a fetus. Okay, this is an embryo with a name tag and an umbilical cord. Okay, fetus comes over. He says, do you have Apple Care insurance? I said, I don't know. I think I have Blue Cross. I don't know. I don't know. My wife handles that for me. I just don't know. Why do I need Apple Care insurance? Fetus says, in case you crack the screen. I said, give me the Apple Care insurance. Fetus says, that'll be $100. So now with the 4 genius, 3 genius, 1 genius, fetus, $400. I said, tell you what. Give me the phone back. Let's pretend I never even walked in here. I take the phone back. I walk across the street to the drugstore. For $1.49, I get a roll of scotch tape. I take the scotch tape, I wrap it around the cracked screen. That's how you save $400 on an iPhone. So when I went down to Provo, Utah to shoot this thing, here's what Dry Bar Comedy is clean comedy. They specialize in clean comedy, right? So they shoot your special, but it's got to be clean, right? Because, safe for work, that kind of thing. Okay, so before you fly down there, they send you a videotape to show you what you should and shouldn't do. And they say, okay, we want your show to go well, but you're coming to Provo, Utah, and the audience is, from Provo, Utah, and so here's some things you want to avoid. I said, okay, so they say there's clean and there's Provo clean. Okay, so clean is no dirty words, no sex. Okay, that's fine, that's okay. Then they get into like vague topics. Like Provo clean. They go, no dark topics. So what's dark topic? No dark topics. Death. Death is dark. Don't do death. It's dark. All right, so you're thinking about it. So you go down there, you fly down there. Now I'm doing 2 shows. You do an 8 o'clock show, 10 o'clock show. You do the same set each show. Same suit, same set. And then they edit together the best of each, and that becomes your special, right? So I go out there, I put my set together, nice clean material, and I do the first show, 8 o'clock show, right? And it goes great. And I close the show with the iPhone routine that I just did. Yeah. And it gets a huge, and that's how you save $400, and the place goes nuts. It's much bigger response than you folks gave me tonight. They just go berserk, and they're laughing and applauding, and I say, thank you very much, and I walk off the stage, I'm a big star. Second show, same exact set. I close with the iPhone routine, right? For some imperceptible, we don't know, who knows, just molecules in the air. It goes over fine, but it doesn't go over big. And I don't get that big response that'll get me off stage. So I go, oh my gosh, I think to myself, I do what every comic does. I go, oh, I can't leave. I gotta throw something else out there. So I go through the file cabinet, blah, 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 and I pull out a routine I had no intention of doing, and I put it out there. And the routine I put out is the routine I just did about my grandparents. Okay, now one died and the other died right after. And I get to the punchline, but in their case, it was a murder-suicide. And the place goes nuts! They love me! They're cheering! The confetti! Mitt Romney comes out with an Dave, we've tithed 10% of our income and we want to give it to you. Because they're Mormons. So then the director comes in. That's Provo YouTube. The director comes, a little Mormon girl comes running up to me. She says, Dave, after the show, she said, I know exactly how we're gonna edit your special. I said, how? She said, that joke about your grandparents, we're putting that at the end. You're closing with that joke. I said, great. So no dark topics. But my Mormon TV special will close with me saying, murder, suicide. Good night, everybody. All right, we're here at Don't Tell Mamas. This is a musical club with cabaret and singing and dancing and music and songs. So we have to do music. We're contractually obliged. Now, luckily, I have a brilliant musician, a brilliant composer, a brilliant pianist. So, like Tinkerbell and Peter Pan, if you believe in Elliot Finkel, applaud massively. Elliot, I'm so glad you're here tonight. Lovely to see you. And welcome back to the stage. And what I thought we would do, we would do a thing where we combine music and comedy. So I would do comedy, and you would do some music, and we would sort of go back and forth. Like, well, you would give me a little musical punch. No, it's okay. It's gonna be. You have a piano right in front of you. It's gonna be all right. So, and I call it. It's like a new routine. I call this jokes with comedy, with music, with telling jokes that are funny with a musical thing accompaniment. I think this is going to be This is going to be your big ticket out of here. Is what this is. It's going to be. You're going to here. I'll show you what I'm talking about. Like for example, I was looking at the stock market. You follow the stock market. It's so volatile. It goes up 500 points. It goes down 1,000. It's just so doesn't really affect me. Luckily, I have all my money invested in credit card debt. Elliot, I was wondering, when sober people go out for a big night on the town, do they have to bring along a designated drunk driver? Some of these, the music doesn't even help. Elliot, I joined Obsessive Compulsives Anonymous. I get it. It was barely even the setup. I joined Obsessive Compulsives Anonymous, which is kind of like a 12-step program, except it has 311 steps. Oh, they're not all different. It's just the same step, repeated over and over again. Sometimes it really is just prolonging the agony. And Obsessive Compulsives Anonymous, you don't call your sponsor. Your sponsor calls you 50, 60 times a day. Elliot, I was watching a documentary on TV. You ever watch those documentaries on TV?
No.
Okay. Witty repartee we got going on. I was watching a documentary. It was about Hitler. It was about Adolf Hitler. The premise was that maybe Hitler was actually a closeted gay man. The documentary is called Triumph of the Will and Grace. It's a Leni Riefenstahl joke. I'm doing Leni Riefenstahl jokes for the kids. Okay. You're a reference. I hired a publicist to get my name in the papers. And my publicist told me, if you want to get your name in the papers, you got to do something huge and outrageous. So I shot him. But nobody knows I did it because now I don't have a publicist. Which, when you think about it, makes it the perfect crime. So we know for next show, 2, not 3. Okay. No, that's me. That's on me. That was not me. No, what do you all wait? No, that's on me. Hey, Elliot, I was just wondering, where you go? How's that? Which one? Want to do that one?
Yes.
This one right here? What he really wants to do is direct. Okay. Hey, Elliot, now that we can can all take our masks off. Do you think that the anti-mask people will put theirs on just to stick it to the man? That's the one you picked. If Scientology has all the answers for life, why can't they do something for John Travolta's hair? Elliot, you know, did I ever tell you about my grandfather, Shlomo Koenig?
Yes, you did.
Well, hopefully I didn't tell you this about him. So, my grandfather, Shlomo Koenig, back in the old country, did you know that he was an entrepreneur, he had the world's first Orthodox Jewish strip club? Yes, for 20 kopecks, an Orthodox Jewish woman would come over, sit on your lap, take off her wig, and dance the horror. And then they shut that joint down, they shut him down, and he fled. He came to America, and you know what my grandfather did? He became a vaudevillian. He was in vaudeville. He was a plate spinner. World's first Orthodox Jewish plate spinner used 2 sets of plates. You know, I was watching the President of the United States was in England today with the Queen. He was in there. You know, I went to London, England. Did you know that? I went to London, England, and it's an interesting thing about London, England. They speak the same language that we do. They absolutely do. But they have certain words. There's certain words they have for things that we have that are different. You know, like for example, I'll tell you something. For what we call an apartment, you know, they call it a flat. Did you know? They call it a flat. What we call an apartment, they call it a flat. And then sometimes, like what we call an elevator, they call that a lift. Did you know that? They call it a lift. And what we call an incredible waste of taxpayers' money, they call Prince Andrew. So it's a whole different.
Oh, man.
You ain't whistling Dixie, kid. So, you know, Randy Quaid. Do you know the TV and film actor Randy Quaid? Good character actor Randy Quaid. You remember Randy Quaid? No. Randy Quaid, TV actor, film actor Randy Quaid announced he was running for governor of California. Did you know that? He's running for governor. And the last time Randy Quaid was in the papers, and this is true, he said he was being stalked. He went a little nutty. He said he was being stalked by a cabal of secret assassins who were out to kill big movie stars. Begging the question, if they're out to kill big movie stars, why are they stalking Randy Quaid? And finally, I hold on this subtle, small, little crib sheet, the last joke of this medley. Elliot, do you think, this is a philosophical point, do you think that strippers have a recurring dream where they suddenly find themselves at work with all their clothes on and no one is staring at them? We want to thank some people. First of all, we want to thank everyone here at Don't Tell Mamas, the staff, the crew, right? Rocky, Randy, and all the kids. And just like everyone else, they were out of work for a year, so for God's sakes, this is not the night. Be a big spender. Go ahead, tip them. Because I know some of you, normally it's like 8%. No, tonight's the big night. Help them out, because they're all working their way through divinity school. So please. And Sydney's not here, but we want to thank Sydney. He's a great guy, and he runs this great club. And I want to introduce very quickly just a couple of really bright lights in the New York cabaret scene. First of all, Elliot and I are working on a little show, not like the jokes we just did. And it's a wonderful show. It's a musical comedy review that we are writing and doing together and making it go. And we had our first little reading the other day, and it really went nicely. And it went nicely primarily because of the talents of a great cabaret singer and actress. And if you ever get the chance to see her sing in New York or anywhere else, you really should run, because she's got a great set of pipes. Miss Cheryl Allen. Cheryl Allen. And now that New York is reopening and show business is coming back, which is just a wonderful thing. We just want to, yeah. There's a lady in our audience she's a New York institution in the cabaret scene, and she's so great. She's produced the longest running cabaret variety show, and Jamie DeRoy and Friends. Miss Jamie DeRoy. Now listen, this is like we were saying. This is cabaret. We're in a cabaret. This is a musical venue. So, like I said, we gotta put some music in here. Now, here's the thing. You should know before we even do this. You should know I am not generally known as a great singer, or whatever that means. Great. I am not. However, and this will be inspirational for all of you. I am living proof that you do not have to be generally known as a great singer to star in a Broadway musical. Let me explain. 1996, the hit Broadway revival Grease. It's been running for years. It's making money like crazy. And I get a call to go audition for the Broadway musical Grease. Now, I had been in show business all my life, and I had done many, many things, but the concept of a Broadway musical wanting me or me being in one was completely, it was not even on the radar screen. No one was thinking of me in those terms. I wasn't thinking, it was, so my agent calls with this thing. I said, well, why do they want to see me for? Well, I'll tell you. The role of Vince Fontaine, the DJ, right? They need someone to do that role who can do comedy because the role requires the person to break the fourth wall. I said, okay, so I go see the show the night before the audition. I go in, and 7:30, the doors open, show's at 8 o'clock, doors open, audience coming in, I'm going in. Vince Fontaine is on the stage, and he's welcoming the audience into the theater. And he's cracking jokes, and he's doing shtick, and he's bringing people up on the stage, and he's doing, and I'm watching this for half an hour. He's warming up the crowd, and I'm watching this, and I'm thinking, well, I can do that. Then 8 o'clock, show starts. Vince Fontaine, character in the show, little light musical comedy acting. I'm watching, I'm thinking, well, I can do that. Okay. Then throughout the first act, he's breaking the fourth wall. He's popping out. He's doing shtick with the audience to cover for scene changes, and I'm thinking, I can do that. First act ends, intermission, I get a premonition. I swear to God, supernatural, heavy feeling. Never had it before or since. But I get a premonition and it hits me. I go, not only can I do that, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna get this job. I'm gonna star in a Broadway musical, okay? Second act, intermission ends, second act, go back in. Vince Fontaine is on stage, orchestra, bum, 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 bum. Backup singers, 4 guys come running up the aisles. They join him on stage, and Vince Fontaine belts out a big Broadway show tune to open the second act, and my heart sinks. Because I'm sitting there going, I can't do that. I show up for the audition. I'm auditioning for Jeff Calhoun, big Broadway director, and Barry Weissler, big Broadway producer. Beautiful man, bronze, tan, gorgeous hair, $5,000 suit, cufflinks, looks like $1 million zillion, a successful, beautiful Jewish man. And he says, do some of the audience warm-up stuff. Now, I didn't particularly care for the jokes they had Vince Fontaine doing in the show when I saw it, so overnight I rewrote the whole thing. I gave him funnier jokes, right? So I get up, I start doing shit, and Weissler's like, do the scene. So I read one of the scenes. He goes, he's fantastic. This is fantastic. He said, do you sing? I said, do I sing? Barry, do I sing? I said, no, I don't sing. Here's what you do. You take the 4 backup singers, turn their mics up, you turn my mic down, I'll make my way through the song, no one will care. And Barry Weissler, big multi-billion-dollar Broadway producer, looks at me and thinks about it and says, works for me. 8 days later, I'm starring in a Broadway musical. Now, every couple of weeks, I'd get carried away because I'm center stage, it's Broadway, and I would belt that song out like Ethel Merman. And the musical director would come up to me after the show and say, Dave, great show tonight, great, but we could hear you sing. So with that in mind, we'd like to entertain you with a little musical farewell. Thank you all for coming out tonight. We love you all. Because remember, without you, we'd be just us. Whether I'm right, oh yes, or whether I'm wrong, whether I find myself a place or I never belong, I gotta be me. I gotta be me. Who else can I be but who I am? Oh, I cannot sing and I cannot dance, but I own my own tuxedo and 2 pairs of pants, and they fit because I'm me. I could show you ID, and then you would see just who I am. Oh, this little show, it could make me a star and suddenly put me in a new class. Then I'll go to LA and I'll get on TV, and finally the stand-up stage can kiss my ass. I make a nice buck, I pay all my bills, I do surprisingly well for a guy with no marketable skills, and it helps that I'm me. I just gotta be me. I don't wanna be you, I couldn't be her, I gotta be me. It's been a long night, you sat through my show, but there's one thing you ought to know before you can go. There are no refunds. There are no refunds. So don't even ask, I'm keeping the dough. There are no refunds. Thank you. Thank you. God bless you. Good night.
We'd like to thank you all for joining us at Don't Tell Mom this evening. Once you have settled your checks, please feel free to exit through the glass door to the left side of the bar in the back of the room, and you can take your cocktails with you and greet the performers in the restaurant space. Thank you and get home safely.